Swarm unit, the Oracle, a Protoss Stargate unit that was added in the Heart of the Swarm beta and has undergone numerous changes. For the purposes of this video, we'll be working from the 10th beta patch, which is the latest at the time of recording, to analyze the way the Oracle is currently working and how it may continue to work as the game moves closer to release. So in the bottom left corner on Cloud Kingdom, we have our red Protoss player, Believe, whom we'll be following for this match, and his opponent in the top right, the blue Zerg, Angry Blue Bug. Now we're just going to speed through a little bit of this replay to get closer to the point where the Oracles come out, because they do require a little bit of tech before they can really be fielded. The Oracle is, of course, a Stargate unit, introduced because lots of Protoss players were feeling that Stargate is really not a tech that they could frequently go outside of Protoss versus Zerg, and they were feeling that even in Protoss versus Zerg, they were really only getting the Stargate for the mothership. They couldn't rely on Stargate units all game long. But we're going to see that the Oracle does a pretty good job of changing a little bit of that. Now, just to go over the stats of the Oracle, it is a flying unit, of course, coming from the Stargate. It costs 150 minerals, 150 gas, and 3 supply to build. It takes 50 seconds unchrono boosted, which means that with chrono boost it builds quite quickly, although not as quickly as a Phoenix. And its movement speed is 3.375, which is quite fast, as we will see once the unit comes out. Now we see that Believe is opening up with a Forge Fast Expand with a Nexus first, which is quite standard even in modern PvZ in Wings of Liberty. And we're going to see him transition into a Stargate opening. And we're going to see that this allows him to get some quick oracles out and really demonstrate the effectiveness of the unit. So just a moment here and we should be seeing the Stargate come up once the Cybernetics core is finished. Now the Oracle has 100 HP and 60 shields, which means that it's quite fragile. It's kind of like a more fragile version of the Phoenix, which, as any Protoss player would know, is not the most durable of units, but can take a few hits. Think of the Oracle as a Phoenix that can't really take any damage. Now there's the Stargate coming up. We're going to be seeing the Oracle come out now. Now, a lot of Protoss players have lamented their inability to put on harassment in the early game that isn't all in. A lot of Protoss players feel that the only way they could ever do any harassment is to go all in. So we're going to see that the Oracle is actually a unit that works fairly well and allows one to transition into a macro game. So we're going to see the first Oracle come out here, and then we'll be able to take a look at its abilities in a little bit more detail. So here's the Oracle. You can see the model right there, and it has 3 abilities. And we also want to note that it has energy, because its abilities obviously require energy, and it's really important to keep track of the Oracle's energy since all of its abilities work differently. The first ability is Revelation, which causes enemy units and structures within the target area to be revealed for 60 seconds. So think of it kind of like a scan that doesn't reveal cloaked units or structures. Okay? So it's sort of like a vision that the Oracle can leave over an area that lasts 60 seconds, which is quite good. It can it's kind of like having a temporary observer that doesn't spot cloaked units, which is quite nice. The next ability is Time Warp, which causes the movement speed of all units in the radius to be reduced by 50% for 30 seconds. So it's basically an area of effect slow, which can be quite useful in the middle of a battle to keep units from getting into battle or getting in range or retreating. All sorts of uses for that ability, both in battle and out of battle. It's even vaguely possible to use it on a mineral patch to reduce mining speed, although I have yet to see that done. Now we're going to see the third ability, Pulsar Beam, in a moment here. There it is. Now Pulsar Beam can be activated to give the Oracle an attack which costs 1.4 energy per second and deals 15 damage plus 10 to light, which is a ton of damage. That's actually pretty much enough to kill a Zergling in a matter of seconds. That plus 10 to light, I mean, is really, really useful, especially when there's 15 base. We're going to see it in action here. See, the Zerg player knows that the mere presence of the Oracle has to pull workers. Gets a quick kill there. But look at this. The Oracles are really fragile, so these spore crawlers are really causing them to die super quickly. So you got to be really careful when you use the Oracle, or else you're not going to be able to keep them alive. Even queens are quite good at killing oracles, although the good thing about the oracle, unlike the phoenix, is that the oracle can fight back with that pulsar beam, which does quite a bit of damage even to queens, which are not light, but still quite a bit of damage. We could also use this pulsar beam to deny creep tumors, much like Hellions do in Terran versus Zerg matchups. Now let's just think for a moment about the uses of the oracle. Since it has an attack that, while costing energy, does quite a bit of damage to ground units, we could really see the oracle be used not just as a harassment unit, but also as a sort of early game army unit to defend with, which really plays into that idea of having a unit which serves a role as harassment without putting the Protoss player all in. This means that the oracle can actually be used to defend. Say your opponent decides to try and do a run by with Lings. Well, when before you could not pull back your Phoenixes, oh, there we can see how much damage that pulsar beam does to queens. Takes them down quite quickly. But whereas before one's Phoenixes were pretty much useless for defense, the oracle can be pulled back and can start wailing on Lings and Roaches and so on for a little bit of extra DPS. And their DPS is nothing to sneeze at, as we can see it, taking out a queen in a matter of a couple of seconds with a couple of oracles. So we see that behind this, the Protoss player has actually taken 3 bases, which really plays into that idea that this unit allows you to open safely and macro at the same time, which is really quite huge. So the rest of this game is going to play out like a pretty standard Protoss versus Zerg with an emphasis on Stargate units. And if you're interested in the Protoss versus Zerg Stargate units, or the Stargate units in general, you can check out our next video, which is going to be on the other Protoss unit that was added to the Stargate, the Tempest. And this has been another video for Shock's Video Guide. I'm Alpha. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to check out our existing library for strategies, tips, and more. Thanks.